Good afternoon, everyone. I am Bronwyn Stevens-Harding, and I'm very much hoping that I am now live on Facebook. So there's a quote from Albert Einstein, which is, in order to keep your balance, you have to keep moving. I think that's a great quote. Sometimes, standing still is a good thing as well. So this week we kept moving. We decided to improve our live streams even more by trying to upgrade to Vimeo and to be able to multi-stream to lots of different platforms. So we changed Vimeo, we changed some of the other equipment, and in that effort to keep moving, lots of things started to fall off the bike. So it's been a bit of a challenge this week. We're sort of back to half of our old system. We are streaming, I really hope, live on Facebook. I'll be getting my camera up in a minute, my phone up in a minute, so I can see some of your reactions, because this week we've got a really, really amazing show for you, and I'm super excited about that because we have, as our guest artists, we have Maya Weir-Cowell returning. You may remember her from singing the Zerlina aria a few weeks ago. She's going to be duetting with me. We have a wonderful baritone, Edwin Dizer, and I'm super excited to be welcoming our very first international guest, absolutely wonderful singer and wonderful person, Brad Cooper, who recorded something for us from his home in Sydney in Australia, and he's going to be giving us this beautiful, beautiful Spanish aria. So as I said, it's been a bit of a technical challenge this week. I haven't had my husband come down and tell me nothing's wrong, so I'm going to keep going. And I think some people are watching, so that's great. Yes, I can see some comments. Fabulous, right. And I've got the thumbs up. Okay, I can go. Oh, just going to have to turn the sound down on my phone, and we're off. So without further ado, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our plans for the coming months. As I said, we decided to keep the bike moving. We were going to keep employing our singers to record things and hopefully eventually be live on this live stream. As the restrictions are being relaxed, then we will be able to have Guy in the corner, one corner or the other, and also hopefully start to get some singers coming here, and they can share the joy with me of going live on camera in this format. But we're absolutely committed at Rogue Opera to keep doing this for the coming months, definitely through to October, and it's a small source of income for our singers while we still continue to pivot to find other ways to get Rogue Opera back on its feet. One of those ways, if you're interested, if you've enjoyed these live streams, we are now offering private online live galas. So I'm doing a fabulous one this weekend for a friend. Her father is turning 75, and we're able to do a remote birthday, so we'll have a lovely gala performance. They'll be watching from their home, she'll be watching from her home, and I believe some of the other family members might be joining as well. So if that's something that might be of interest to you for a special occasion, while you still can't get big groups of people together, and you certainly can't go to the opera at the moment, then please do send us an email or get in touch on Facebook. So my first song, as I mentioned, is going to be a duet with the wonderful Maya. This is a Mozart favourite. It's from the opera Così fan tutte, which translates from Italian, that's just the way women are. So Così fan tutte is one of the, it's a great opera. The music is fantastic by Mozart. The storyline can be, if you just interpret it in a very one-dimensional way, it can be a bit problematic for this modern age, because it's essentially saying, well, women are just like that. Women are always going to be fickle. They're going to cheat on their husbands, their boyfriends, their partners, and there's nothing you can do about that. You poor noble men, you're just going to have to either choose to put up with it or be lonely for the rest of your life. Obviously, Mozart wrote this as a comedy, and Mozart and De Ponte, who was his librettist, the person who adapted the words of a story, they were really clever. They really understood human nature, and so of course it's a joke because all people can behave like that, and particularly men sometimes. Anyway, in Così fan tutte, there are two brothers who go off to war to test this theory. They come back disguised, and they're going to see whether they can, as disguised, completely unrecognisable, whether they can seduce their fiancés and prove that they're either going to be faithful or unfaithful. So I do recommend trying to check out this opera if you can. It's hilarious. The aria Maya and I are going to sing, the duet that Maya and I are going to sing, is about 2/3 of the way through the opera. The sisters have both succumbed hummed. They've both decided that, you know, it wouldn't do any harm to have a bit of fun while their fiancés are not there. And the only thing left to do is to choose which of the two strangers each one is going to have. So the duet is Prenderò quel brunettino, and it is, I will take the brown-haired one. So my character Dorabella has decided that that's the one she'll fancy, and that's perfectly fine with her sister Fiordalici, because she's very happy with the other one, and they have this beautiful playful aria where they imagine what fun they're going to have with the two men. So I'm going to hand over to Maya to give a very brief introduction, and we'll see if we can get the video in sync with the sound this week. If not, rest assured that Maya and I will be singing beautifully together.
Hi, I'm Maya, and I'm delighted to be bringing you a piece of music from my home to yours through Rogue Opera's Livestream.
So I hope you all enjoyed that wonderful piece of music from Mozart, and thank you to Maya for being my duet partner in this. We did actually have a chance to sing this aria duet together last year. Actually, we were on Wandsworth Riverside Radio, and we got to sing it in a tiny, tiny recording studio. And yeah, that was the last time we did that live. So Maya, I can't wait to sing that with you live in some venue or another very, very soon. I am now looking at my Facebook because one of the key things we wanted to do this week was to have a little bit of interaction, to be able to see how people are responding to the live stream, and as I've said in my previous live streams, as a performer who thrives not only on sharing a stage with wonderful, wonderful colleagues, you absolutely thrive on the synergy and the joy you get from an audience, and whether they're quiet or clapping or just there in a room with you, you absolutely get a sense of their reaction. So I'm just going to say a quick hello to people. Hi to Guy, hi to Brad, hi to Kevin, hi to Nuria, hi to James. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you for your claps. Maya says lots of love. If anyone has any questions they want to ask me, please do send a message on the Facebook and I will do my best to answer them. So next up we have Guy Murgatroyd, who you heard the wonderful piano there. Guy is our music director. He has developed a new thing, and I think last week was a huge hit. It's a new piece called Secco 60, where he gives us a little bit of explanation of some things in opera in 60 seconds, and he accompanies it with a beautiful video, really clever, really funny. And this week's Secco 60, I believe, is about a voice type in opera called baritone, and baritones are the lower voice type for men, but I'm not going to say any more because Guy explains it incredibly well. So I'm going to hand over to Guy to introduce and give you his second in the series of Secco 60.
Hello and welcome to Secco 60, where each week I look at a different aspect of operatic terminology in just 60 seconds. This week I'm looking at the term baritone. Ton de regard is an aria written for baritone voice. What is a baritone? It is a classical voice type describing a vocal range between bass and tenor that typically covers about 2 octaves. Where did the term come from? The name derives from the early 17th century Italian baritono and from Greek barotonos, where baro means heavy and tonus means tone. Until the 19th century there was no formal distinction between baritone and bass voices. Types of baritone. Today there are many subtypes of baritone. Let's look at 4. 1. Bass baritone, a baritone voice that has an extended lower range. 2. Dramatic baritone, a rich, dark and vibrant baritone found mainly in operas by Wagner and Verdi. 3. Lyric baritone, a sweet-sounding baritone with a wider range of top notes than a dramatic baritone. 4. Cavalier baritone, a weighty, metallic baritone that can sing both dramatic and lyric roles. You can hear in Ton de regard that it occupies the territory of a lyric baritone. However, it's not uncommon in galas to find this aria sung freely by most of the types listed above. That's this week's Secco 60. See you next week.
Wonderful, thank you Guy. I know Guy's watching, so if you'd all like to put some love for him in the comments there, and if you have any more questions, he is obviously the man to ask. He is an absolute fount of knowledge, as well as being a fabulous pianist and music director. So what Guy was talking about, the aria, Ton du something or other, which I don't have written down because I was too busy trying to make sure my microphones worked today, is the aria that Edwin is about to sing for you. I do know that the aria is from the wonderful French opera L'Acmé by the composer Delibes, and you will all, I'm sure, recognise the most famous piece of music from that opera is the Flower Duet, otherwise known as the BA theme tune, which we've featured on several of our live streams. So L'Acmé is the daughter of a Brahmin priest, and throughout the opera, L'Acmé is being led astray, shall we say. She falls in love with a British soldier, and he's from a completely different culture. It's at a time when that was absolutely not frowned upon. Because she is the daughter of a very respected man, then it's even more important that she doesn't do anything that could lead to conflict or disgrace. But also her father, the priest, is of course concerned for her happiness. And in this aria, sung beautifully in a moment by Edwin Deiser, the father, whose name I also can't read as I scribbled it down, do excuse my lack of preparation this week, the father sings to L'Acmé that he's really concerned for her. He sees that she's not her normal self. She's flustered, she's feverish, she seems to be a completely changed person. Of course, for her, she's flustered and feverish because she's in love, and her life has suddenly transformed, and all she can think about is Gerald, the British soldier that she's fallen in love with. But from the father's point of view, all he sees is some strange and worrying behaviour in his daughter, and he sings to her that he hopes to see her return to the peaceful and calm state, and see the stars shining in her eyes, and see her soul restored to calm. And I guess he wants what most fathers want when their daughters first venture out into the world. He wants his little girl back. So I'm going to hand over to Edwin to give a little bit of an introduction to himself, and then I will have the pleasure of channeling Lakme as she listens, but not really listens, to her father. So over to Edwin.
Hello, I'm Edwin Deiser, and it's a pleasure to be joining you for this Rogue Opera live stream. I'm a baritone singer, and I've been singing with Rogue Opera for very approximately about a year now. I've been Mazzetto in the Don Giovanni production, and I had a very brief stint just for a weekend covering the Remendado and Morales in their production of Carmen as well. Both have been an absolute joy. There's this really strong emphasis on dance and movement in Rogue Opera's ethos that is fascinating for a singer to be a part of. Well, I hope you enjoy the live stream, and I also hope that you come back next week as well.
Lakme, ton doux regard se voile, ton sourire c'est ta tristesse, comme on voit pâlir une étoile, une ombre assombrit ta beauté. C'est que Dieu de nous retire, c'est qu'il attend la mort du criminel. Mais je veux retrouver ton sourire, oui, je veux retrouver ton sourire, et dans tes yeux, et dans tes yeux. Je veux revoir le ciel. Le cœur rempli d'ardente fièvre, j'ai voulu t'écouter dormir. Un rêve passait sur tes lèvres, et je voyais ton front rougir. C'est que Dieu de nous se retire, c'est qu'il attend la mort du criminel. Mais je veux retrouver ton sourire, oui, je veux retrouver ton sourire,
So a huge round of applause for Edwin, that beautiful rendition from Lacme's De Libre. It's such a wonderful opera. I know it's one that Rogue Opera perhaps might think of doing in the future, and it has some really, really beautiful music in it. So for those of you watching on Facebook, hello. Hi to Vicky, hi to Lynn, hi to Susan, hi to London Alcove Company. Hey, that's my heavy metal fan, Cameron. Yes, I don't know if anyone caught the running joke that we've had, that Cameron is one of my biggest converts. He used to exclusively listen to heavy metal. He plays heavy metal. He listened to my live streams as a favour to me because he's my friend, and he's now converted. And I shared this, I think, on Facebook or with a new, I can't remember how I shared it, but another one of my friends who's a heavy metal fan, Adam, came out of the woodwork as well. So this is my mission. I want to have a heavy metal fan convert every week. So if you are a non-opera fan or a heavy metal fan, send us a message, give me a shout now, and we'll start a little tally of how many people we're enticing into this fabulous, fabulous world of opera. And what we all love at Rogue Opera about opera is not obviously just the music, which is beautiful, but you know, all the characters and the stories, and as a performer, you really get to inhabit those. You get to, you know, learn and discover all kinds of emotional things as you map a path through a story about a character, how you're going to interact with your fellow performers on stage, and it's a real joy, it's a real pleasure and a gift that I believe, you know, it would be nice for everyone to be able to experience that idea of getting inside someone else's head and really understanding what makes them tick, and then how you're able to present that person's motivations and beliefs through your performance and your music. So that's one of the things that, as I said, we're really passionate at Rogue Opera about. At this point, we are only able to do this via these live streams here. We hope we'll be able to come back to the real world in not too distant future. But for anyone not watching, please do continue to share the links. It's great to get so much presence, to get people from around the world watching. And we are also accepting donations to our Rogue Opera COVID-19 Artist Fund, and anything that people donate to that fund goes directly to paying our artists for these live streams and any other online projects that we have. So now I'm super excited to introduce our international guest, Brad Cooper. I believe Brad is watching as well, so we're ready to give him a big round of applause. I first met Brad in February this year when I put together a bushfire relief concert for the Australian bushfires, which at the time were devastating Australia, and Brad was one of the Australian singers who volunteered to come and sing for us, and we put on a fabulous concert. And I think some of the people who are watching the live stream had the pleasure of seeing Brad live in Balham in February, so I do hope you enjoy this performance of his just as much. So Brad has recorded this especially for us in Sydney. He coordinated with Guy, our pianist and music director, and again, you know, that's a new thing we've had to adapt to, of how to get that synergy that you'd normally have between your pianist and your other musicians, and you know, as you go through a song where you have this natural give and take, ebb and flow, and that's, you know, something quite hard to do over email, over Skype, etc. But Guy and Brad have managed fabulously, and I think you are all going to be very impressed with the result. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to Brad to introduce, and then you're going to hear him sing a beautiful aria from a Spanish opera, which is about, it's a passionate song about loss and loving.
Hi, I'm Brad Cooper, and I'm so happy to be singing for you tonight through Rogue Opera's online platform. I'm thrilled to be invited by Bronwyn to sing for you tonight. It's providing a platform for singers to get their work out there and help raise important funds to keep the work of Rogue Opera going into the future. Now, Bronwyn and I first met a few months ago when I was involved in the bushfire relief concert, which we raised an amazing £4,600 to contribute to help people here in Sydney and Australia. Now, that's some really good news, and some good news that I've had at this particular time is that a Florestan that I was due to do in August has been moved to 2021. So I'm really thrilled that we can do Fidelio next year in Germany. But for tonight, I thought I'd give us a little bit of passion. So Rosabal's No Puede Ser, which is a passionate song for an emotional time.
No puede ser, esa mujer es buena. No puede ser una mujer malvada. En su mirar, como una luz singular, he visto que esa mujer es una desventurada. No puede ser una vulgar sirena que envenenó las horas de mi vida. No puede ser porque la echar, porque la vi querer, porque lo vi llorar. Los ojos que lloran no saben mentir, las malas mujeres no miran así, temblando en sus ojos dos lágrimas vi, y a mí me ilusiona que tiemblen por mí, que tiemblen por mí. Viva luz de mi ilusión, sé piadosa con mi amor, porque no sé peñar, porque no sé tarar, porque no sé vivir.
Wow, Brad, that's just fantastic. Thank you so much for being part of the Rogue Opera live stream. It's such a pleasure to hear you sing that beautiful, beautiful aria. Thank you to everyone who is watching and commenting on Facebook. I'm going to say hello to Ang Harrod, hello to Bethany, hi to James Hancock, David's here. We've got a good Australian contingent, which is wonderful. Hi Eric, I believe you're back from Portugal. That's great to see you all. Robert, thank you. Yes, thanks for your comment. This week we were really determined to get live on Facebook, which means that perhaps the link on the Rogue Opera website is either not working or is in a very small size. So we will put the full quality replay up on the Rogue Opera website, and hopefully by next week, once I've got back on that technology bicycle, we'll be able to be doing all the places in all the formats with no hitches. I can only hope. So it's almost the end of our half an hour. I have turned the camera on and off, so I'm not going to be caught out by that little 27-minute glitch, because I have one more song for you. This is a wonderful song by Wilhelm Gluck. It's from the opera based on the legend of Paris and Helen of Troy, and I get to sing the role of Paris, so I get to sing a trouser role, play a male character, and as I've said before, I do believe that the mezzo male characters are genuinely much, much nicer than any of the others. Sorry guys. So Paris obviously is not, in history the nicest of chaps, but at this point in the opera, he is just in love with Helen. He's found her, he's convinced her to come and live with him, and at this moment she is sailing across the seas to him, and he's standing on the beach and he's looking out to sea, and he just knows that he can feel her coming closer and closer, and that with every breath she takes, he can feel his lungs expanding and freeing, and just feeling this sense of love and comfort and presence. And you know, he's also a little bit concerned that until she gets to him, something could still go wrong. And so he sings to her, you know, if you take your last breath, then for me, that would also be my last breath. So this is the beautiful O del mio dolce ador, an ode to the one that I love, from Paride ed Elene by Wilhelm Gluck. Well, thank you everybody so much for joining me on this 8th live stream for Rogue Opera. 8 doesn't sound like that many, but I tell you, when you're doing a live stream once a week, every week, and then over the last couple of weeks I was also doing some live streams for the Wandsworth Arts Fringe. So I think I've done 7 or 8 live streams actually within the last couple of weeks, and you know, it's been wonderful, it's been challenging, it's been a lot. So thank you for tuning in, thank you for bearing with my slight technical issues. I hope everyone was able to enjoy the performances. We will keep getting getting back on that bike and bigger and better for next week. Please spread the word as far as you can. We would love to have our views in the hundreds and thousands. At the moment we average about 200 or 300 views with replays as well, which, you know, to be honest, is not bad for opera. So, you know, we're really passionate about getting this amazing music, getting these amazing Rogue Opera artists as big a platform as possible, and keep on adapting to this time of crisis as we continue to see what the future might bring. So please do tune in again next Friday at noon, and we have some wonderful guests for you again next week, who's one of them is Jack Holton. I believe we may also have another duet from Sasha Alexandra Cowell, who you heard sing Non Mi Dear a few weeks ago, and I'm just going to have a final check of Facebook, because now that I've got it working I may as well take an advantage. Thank you everyone for your support. Hi to Aaron, and hi to Louise, hi to Vicky. Someone said it was working on the website. We'll check all that technology stuff. I'm just so excited I've got a little bit of audience reaction. So thank you for joining me. A huge round of applause again to all my Rogue Opera guest artists, and also to Guy Murgatroyd for his constant support and his beautiful, beautiful piano playing. So if I can find how I can exit, then I will be saying goodbye very, very shortly. So this is Bronwyn Stevens-Harding, the director of Rogue Opera, signing off for this week. Goodbye.
No puede ser esa mujer